the sixth Technovation webinar. Tonight we're going to be discussing how to prepare for your pitch event. So let me get the slideshow started and we'll walk through some tips. In general, I think this is one of the easiest parts to prepare for. At this point, all of the work has been done. You're just preparing it to be presented in front of a live audience and preparing all the work that you've previously done for the judges. So we'll get right in. There's three elements to the pitch. There is a pitch video. There is a demo video, which demonstrates the features of your app. And there is the pitch deck. So the pitch deck is the thing that if your team makes it to completion and submits all documents, they'll present in front of a live audience to live judges in Kyiv in mid-May. So first parts of the sorry about that. Parts of the pitch video. Generally speaking, the pitch video should cover the items that you talked about in your problem statement. So it should identify the problem and why it's worth solving, and then walk through the highlights of your business plan. A big thing to note here is that there are an almost endless number of Technovation pitch videos you can watch on YouTube. So your team will probably find them without you. So encourage them to watch as many as possible, but make sure you point back to the Technovation website, because within the curriculum, they actually highlight 5 or 6 pitch videos, and they describe which elements of that video are the best and what they like from it. So as anything with YouTube, without getting too far down the rabbit hole, you can use those 6 videos to demonstrate sort of what Technovation considers to be their prime examples. But the pitch video should present the problem, the solution, who you're targeting, some brief mentions about the competition, your team, and the financial plan. What are the pitch video requirements? All team members should say at least one sentence. So everyone should speak, but it's not uncommon that one team member does the majority of the speaking, with smaller parts for other members that might have a lower level of English proficiency or are just generally more shy. The video can be up to 4 minutes long, and other than that, those are about the only requirements. If you are planning on using sort of like any stock imagery, if you're going to include testimonials in the video, or people will be in the video around town, they encourage you to use a consent template, because your pitch video could be used on the Technovation website. So in the curriculum, there is a template which you can fill everything out. I'm not sure that there's a translated version of that, but if anyone needs that, we can get that for them. And other than that, you can pretty much do whatever you want. We've seen very sort of direct pitch videos, which look like what a live presentation would look like, are very business-like, and just tell the story in a compelling way. We've seen skits, we've seen animated pitch videos, and it could be anything. So those are kind of the main elements. Encourage your girls to write a script. we went through and sort of made an outline, and the girls were just ready to start recording. And if they're insistent, it's a good idea, because often we haven't heard ourselves recorded. So we recorded a little bit and they saw it and they realized that we needed to write a script. So go ahead and write a script and a plan for what video you'll take, and also the script of who will speak and what they'll say, to make sure you include everything that you want, and also to make sure that it can be done in under 4 minutes, because you might have to cut more than you think. So beyond that, I think creating the pitch video is pretty self-explanatory. Once you watch 3 or 4 of the videos, you kind of get the idea of what they're looking for, and let your team get creative. So this should be a fun part of the competition. After finishing up the business plan and finishing up the app, this is a time for them to sort of relax and have a little fun, and maybe be a little more informal as they present the pitch video. After you create a pitch video, then you'll create a demo video. So the demo video should show what the app actually does. It can be 2 minutes long. It should demonstrate the functionality of your app, and highlight any unique features or technology or sort of just mobile application aspects that you're using. Judges use this video to understand how the app works. So there's a huge community of online judges, and they use this to basically determine the functionality of your app. So when you're creating the demo video, I would say go back to the lesson that you did on paper prototyping in the coding section. You can use that as a starting point. Think about what screens and what functionality you want to show, and then build a storyboard from there. Once you have your storyboard, you can go ahead and do one of a few ways. There's 3 good examples on the Technovation website, which show sometimes people using screenshots, sometimes people using screencasts when they've used the App Inventor web application. But from a technological standpoint, and also I feel it gives a little more human touch, you'll see a lot of videos where someone is actually just closed up on a hand going through the physical functionality of the app. So you can do whatever your team wants, but all 3 of those options are available. To produce your demo video, write your script and your storyboard. Then you can film your video using a voiceover. They supply a lot of links to free recording and film editing software that you can use. So go ahead and use the links that are in the curriculum there. And then edit the video, review it, and submit it for upload. Live presentation. So this will be the pitch event in Kyiv, which will be, I believe, sometime in the first half of May. So the Technovation Challenge officially is over, the initial submission is due on, I think, April 28th. And then the regional pitch events by country happen in the first half of May. And then judging continues on from there. So there's a lot of elements of the regional pitch event. In the prior year, it was first sort of an open house where judges, each team got to set up a table. And they were, the teams were allowed to present a poster sort of in any way they wanted. They could have the app there if they had an iPad. If they had a computer, they could show how the app worked. And the judges and other attendees of the event floated around and asked questions to the different teams about how their app worked, what their business plan was, different things like that. After that, then each team gave their pitch. So there's a presentation, basically a presentation deck of their business. So it's a pretty fun event for the girls. It's a little nerve-wracking, but overall it's a really good experience for them. So that's what this live presentation section is all about. The pitch presentation deck in general is just the business plan and a few slides that include like screenshots of the best functionality of the app. But in general, the pitch is the business plan. So there's a checklist that you can use on the Technovation website, so I encourage you to use that. If you can't find it, contact us. But the business plan is your guide of what you should be including in the deck. However, be careful that you're not just copying and pasting the business plan into a PowerPoint. Making the presentation more visually appealing, including infographics, thinking about quotes that might relate to your industry or to your business could be really ways to make your team stand out. Sort of just a housekeeping thing that came up more frequently than I would have expected last year is make sure that your team takes a look at their deck and how readable it is. We had a lot of teams that had very busy PowerPoint backgrounds, so they had these great presentations, but from a design perspective, when it was up on a giant projection screen, it was very difficult for anyone to read it. My team is included on that. But yeah, so think about that. If you have a projector at your school, put the presentation up on the projection so they can kind of see how readable it is. It might help them with the design aspect of it a little bit. But in general, you can do whatever you want. You can include video. You can include images. One team sang a song last year, so all that is an option during the live presentation. But in general, the deck should be a visual presentation of your business plan. This is just a list of great openings. Most of us as adults who have seen a lot of presentations, written a lot of presentations, know some of these great openings, but this is a good slide that you can share with your team as you start preparing for the presentation. And finally, just emotionally preparing the girls for the day of the pitch. So most of your girls are going to have spent 4 or more months working on this project. So of course there's going to be a lot of anxiety around the day of final judging. The grand prize of a free trip to San Francisco is not a small prize for Ukrainian teenagers, so they're very excited about that as well. And a lot of them, they haven't ever had a time where they have had to deal with like a Q&A, where they have had to field questions about a project that they have done or think critically on the spot. So you want to prepare them for that. Once the decks are all done and you have the videos completed, you want to sit down before you get them to Kyiv and talk to them about how to prepare for the judges panel. Help them anticipate questions and prepare responses. Decide who is going to answer what questions. Maybe the team who worked more on the coding can speak to the technical side, and whoever worked more on the business plan can speak to the business side. However they want to break it up. But your teams are going to be 3 to 5 girls, and it'll be like one person asking a question at a time. So it's worth thinking about sort of planning that team dynamic and how they'll look as a united front in front of the judges and in general during the presentation and at the pitch event. It's an emotional day. All these girls want to go to San Francisco. Not everyone will go. Technovation Ukraine does a good job of trying to reward as many attributes of the project as they can. But just spend some time emotionally preparing them, because it is a big day for them. So yeah. With that said, that's all I have for the pitch. I think this one is one of the more straightforward ones. All the work, for the most part, is completed. And you are just sort of tidying it up and putting it in a nice package with a pretty bow and preparing it for the judges. So if you have any questions, you can let me know. If not, then I'll see you in Kyiv. Thank you.